Welcome back to Born for This Stories, where we speak the truths no one told us, so you don't have to carry this alone. Today we have Dr. Alison Evans, and she is a chiropractor, educator, and founder of Fringe with 25 years in the wellness industry. She's passionate about bridging natural healing and science. Through Fringe, she introduces safe, effective modalities like red light therapy, engineered to mimic the healing power of the sun, making them accessible and powerful for families. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I would love to know your story. Please share your story with us. What pulled you into chiropractic, and then how did you evolve from there into Fringe, and how'd it go?
Yeah, I know. It's really been a long time too. So when you say I've been in the industry 25 years, I'm like, how's that possible? Because I still think I'm 25, but I'm not,
Uh-huh.
everybody.
I understand.
Um, yeah. So, I was influenced at a pretty young age by going to a chiropractor, and I think that's a lot of stories for people in any category of what I would consider natural health care, chiropractor, acupuncture, naturopath. It was different, and this was a long time ago. It was a different way to think about the body and healing, and that really just flipped a switch in me at a really young age. I wanted to be a chiropractor really young. I just I think that is the power of having a mentor, and getting on a directional right path at a young age can be really impactful. So, the biggest difference for me was that, if something was hurting, or if I had a headache, or if I had, digestive issues, I was taught and learned to really trust that there was always a cause for that, that there was a root cause for a headache or digestive problem, or, a sore back or whatever it may be. And that if I went mainstream for medicine, that I could always fix those things. I could take a medication, I could go fix them, but I wouldn't be addressing the underlying cause. And so, as crazy as it sounds, for a really long time, that has been a fringe profession. Alternative medicine is still very considered fringe. It's not the mainstream. And so the word and the name of the company really, I think for me, is just full circle in this is the life I've lived. This is how I think. And it's like constitutionally me, And so the word fringe just, means unconventional, or it means the outer edges of a group. And I just firmly and like every cell in my body believes that that's where we learn and grow. And ultimately, I just really believe that's where we heal too. So for me, it's been a long time in natural health care, and Fringe, we started, 4 some odd years ago, was really a way for me to make a company that really embodied that philosophy about health and healing and learning. Just that sometimes we don't have the answers, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't go pursue them.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I love that. That's such like a good way
Yeah.
to get into it and to
Yeah.
evolve.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. What was the pivotal point from, or maybe you did some at the same time? Like, I don't know if you still practice or not, like from chiropractic
Yeah.
to Fringe. Like,
Yeah. I practiced for 2001 is when I graduated. I practiced for about 8 years, but as I was practicing, I was so drawn to um, the business side of natural health care and products and educating healthcare professionals and people. So it really sort of, when they talk about flow state, it's like I'd be seeing patients, and then I'd be working on like a talk I was giving, or, a product I was really interested in teaching people about. So I came by that very honestly, just sort of paying
yeah.
attention to the fact that, I wanted to be able to help people in a different way. And so it's been about 25 years now of really just working for natural health type product companies and making education and helping other providers learn. And so Fringe was sort of a natural progression of just kind of getting to sort of, a company and a philosophy that's really embodies this past few decades.
Yeah, love it. Okay.
Yeah.
What you got?
So, for parents who might have never heard of red light therapy, um, I know that when we started going through what we did with our child and some of the other stuff even Johanna has at her office and different things, I had no idea what it was, and I'm still
Yeah.
not very educated on the topic. But she
Yeah.
uses it on me. She uses it on her kids, on herself. She's a big time user of it. So can you give us a rundown on the benefits and just what it is?
Yeah, yeah. The it's actually quite simple. It's just like the impact is so amazing. So red light therapy, the term red light therapy actually applies to both red and near infrared light. And it's not new. I mean, red light therapy has honestly been around for like 50 years, maybe even more at this point. And so it's really well studied and very well understood. The disruption is, 2017, 18, we started to see LEDs and LED lights to be able to deliver red and near infrared light. And that made it available to consumers and clinicians at a more affordable price. But at the end of the day, red and near infrared light is about half of the light we receive from the sun. And so when we talk about the light we receive from the sun has gotten a really bad rap. And I'm glad that it's at a turning point, considering it, runs the world and the universe.
Yeah.
It it has all these forms of bioactive light, meaning the light interacts with our biology and changes how we function in a positive manner, all positive. And so, red and near infrared is about half of that light, but you also have blue light, UVB light, far infrared light. All of those lights positively impact the way our body works, and elevates its ability to function and thrive. And so the cool part about red and near infrared light is it's been really well studied. It's very, very, very safe. The safety profile is off the charts. And at the end of the day, it's kind of simple to wrap your head around how it works. The light we receive from the sun, you have to think of it like little balls of energy traveling from the sun that hit our skin. When that light is absorbed through our skin or through our eyes, it essentially energizes or powers up our cells, all of our cells. It doesn't matter if it's a muscle, ligament, tendon, bone, liver, cells in our guts, cells in our brain, cells in our hair, skin. Our entire body is energized by the light we receive and absorb, and there is no replacement for it. There's no supplement you can go and take to create that energy shift inside of a cell. You can't go to the gym, you can't out exercise it. There's absolutely no replacement for it. It's why red light therapy is so amazing and enjoyable and successful, because our body literally just have to think of it as like a sponge absorbing that light. And so when that light gets absorbed into our body and our cells, literally think of it as like one bar on our phone, go up to 5 bars on our phone, and our cells are energized, our body is just working really well. And so when our body works well, it heals itself. And the environment for healing always has a very similar story, no matter what condition or body area or organ system we're talking about. When our body is healing, our cells are energized, we have blood flow. We have a lot of circulation coming in and out of an area. Brain, guts, shoulder injury, skin, whatever it may be, bone fractures, whatever it may be, there is a lot of blood flow coming into that area. Blood flow really is life in the stage of healing. We also have repair and regeneration. So when our cells are working really well, they're naturally in a state of repair and regeneration. That's what our body naturally does. And so, if I was talking about a shoulder injury, be easy to say, yes, we have collagen repair and elastin repair and maybe some bone repair that's happening, in there, but it becomes more complex than that. A state of repair in our brain or in our gut has to do with all the cells in those tissues also regenerating and repairing. And then our body naturally moderates inflammation. And inflammation is sort of at the root of a lot of disease processes that we experience. And so our body naturally knows what to do with inflammation and how to moderate it. If it's needed there to heal something, our body keeps it there. But when it's chronic, low grade, and not needed there, our body knows to get rid of it. And so, as crazy as this sounds, that is what light does. That's what we receive from the sun. We receive this energizing increase in blood flow, repair and regeneration, and then a moderation of inflammation. And that's me summarizing 50 years of published research, 4,000 plus published studies on this topic. Of course, there's so many more. There's like 65 detailed molecular processes in the body, but I just summarized it. When our cells are energized and they are able to work in an optimal environment, our body heals. And so then it comes down to we get asked questions all week by families and providers like, could red light therapy help this? Could red light therapy help this? Well, at the end of the day, light helps our body heal. So the answer is always yes.
Yep.
It's whether or not I have science or published studies to back it up mechanistically, if we can connect that to like how it works for them. But it's really incredible. I could go on and on and on and on and on. But that is the summary of how red light therapy works. And it's basically us biohacking. We are supposed to be outside the majority of the day.
Yeah.
That is how these bodies were designed. We have not evolved or caught up to modern day. Modern day living is like 100 years. That's like a blip, in the
Mhm.
time span of humans. We are just not caught up to hanging out in our, artificial light all day.
Right.
We spend 93% of our time indoors. We should be spending 93% of our time outdoors, but realistically, that's not going to happen. So what can we do, that's simple, safe, effective to supplement light? That's what we're doing with red light therapy. We're supplementing half of the sun's healing rays of light.
Oh, that's so beautiful when you say it like that.
No,
I
that's great.
literally could
And
just be like, do you want me to talk for 5 more hours? I will. Okay.
well, I know you already did kind of touch on this, but one of the questions we had was obviously we talked to parents specifically that are handling some sort of medically complex situation with their children.
Yeah.
Um, what is something that you wish they knew about it? They definitely can feel safe using this no matter what. Is there any time that it's not safe? And then um, maybe you have a story or something you can share about a, a child or something like this that can be relatable to our
Yeah,
audience.
it's very safe. So we tell people that if you can be outside in the sun for 20 minutes, you certainly can do a 20-minute red light therapy session. It's kind of like half of the suns. We engineer all of our products to deliver an intensity of light and wavelengths of light that are similar to the sun. Interestingly, that is also what science supports. So I always say you rarely have nature and science fighting. When you peel it all back and you're like, oh, more is better, more is better. It's not. It's absolutely not. The natural world is like the greatest teacher for us. So if you can be outside for 20 minutes in sunlight, then red light therapy is safe for you. There's some areas that red light therapy isn't as well studied. So we have to sort of put disclaimers out there and say, hey, overactive cancer sites, we just don't have enough information yet. Over pregnant abdomens, we don't have enough information yet. But everything else you could ask me about is, or is it safe for you to be in sunlight for 20 minutes? So the safety profile is incredible.
Yeah.
Um, it's warm. It's
Yeah.
comfortably warm. It's not hot. It's intended to be easy, enjoyable to use. And there's so much that we have to do, in my opinion, that's not easy when
Hmm.
it comes to especially parents with medically complex children. There is so much that is being asked of you.
Hmm.
Change this diet, do these therapies, take these medications, learn about all the side effects of these medications. I mean, to put on a warm wrap on your kid's belly or
Hmm.
chest or head for 10 minutes a day, it will be one of the things that they'll be happy to do. And I think that's a pretty important take home message for all of us is that I do think it's hard. I am also somebody who every day is like, I got to do this. I'm just like sort of fighting to be as healthy as I can be. But when something's easy, and feels so good. That's also an important message for parents, that it doesn't always have to be so hard.
Yeah.
And I do think a big thing for us with families that have had incredible stories is, yes, the kids have had incredible outcomes, but so have the caretakers, and that probably needs to be emphasized just as much. We've had, a lot of stories of kids with what I would consider chronic immune conditions. And maybe it's the symptomatology, like a raging case of eczema, head to toe eczema. They're on so many medications and they start, utilizing light, whether it be directly on the area that the skin is sort of screaming about what's going on inside, or they could utilize, we had this one 3-year-old. This was really early on, so it was super impactful for us when we would get these stories. They used our panel and they put the light source, maybe about 12 inches from the toddler's body. This toddler's body, head to toe, was a really, really terrible case of atopic dermatitis or eczema, and it healed it very quickly. Within a week there was significant improvements. Within a couple weeks, all the skin had calmed down. It would have been truly the equivalent of getting out and getting more sun on their body. They used to do that, like
Yeah.
back in the ancient days. They had solariums or heliotherapy where they would just take patients with tuberculosis or chronic, you know, unknown health conditions, and they would put them in sunlight. So we've had that. And then we've obviously had also, a whole series of what I would consider autoimmune type digestive
Hmm.
um, conditions, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel, where just putting the light through the abdomen for a calming effect, for a pain relief effect, but then also for healing and energizing the cells, within that area. Kids with autism and ADHD, I think it's sort of gone twofold. We've had parents with kids with autism and ADHD utilizing, just the wrap on their child's gut, also utilizing the wrap over their head. You can absorb red light through the skull. That fascinates people. We have an adult. This is my adult therapy that I wear every day for memory, cognition, prevention of chronic um, sort of neurodegenerative
Yeah.
diseases. My mom has dementia, so this for me is like a daily, but we have kids utilizing this as well, 10 minutes a day, using it for helping with inflammation in the brain, lymphatic drainage of toxins from the brain. And then sometimes, I think this is an important sort of step back on the topic of light, is that the light we view through our eyes throughout the day and in the evening really impacts our physiology. It impacts our nervous system, but it also impacts our hormonal cycles or circadian rhythm. And so we have a lot of families that use our panel to illuminate the living room or the bedrooms at night versus having bright blue lights. So what we do know is that when the sun goes down, so should bright lights. Screens, bright lights in our home should be dark. It signals our body to lower cholesterol and start stimulating melatonin production naturally. Melatonin's a hormone, so when we supplement it, we certainly don't train our body to create more of it. And so light can do that. And so utilizing light for mood, mental health, behavioral disorders in a way that it is the light that you're viewing versus the light you're absorbing through your skin is also kind of a cool story that we get some really incredible, feedback on how evening routines have improved, how, you know, um, across the board with a family, not just with, the medically complex child.
You just shared with us some of the products that you have to offer, and we were able to see that for anyone who is watching on YouTube or on social media, you'll be able to see that. Um,
Yeah.
if somebody's out there looking for a red light product, or is it red light or no red light? They're all pretty much similar. Is there really ones that you want to look out for, specifically types or anything different that people should?
Yeah. We do. We get asked a lot, like,
Mhm.
hey, I see this on Amazon. What do you think? We get asked that pretty regularly. There's a lot of red light therapy companies out there. I would sort of treat it like supplements a little bit too. Like when you're
Yeah.
buying a product, it takes very little time to just go to a company's website and learn about why they're making things the way they're making them, the testing they're doing, their dedication to safety and, science and that sort of thing. So for us, our website's an incredible resource for parents to read. Our social media is a great resource for parents to watch videos and learn. There are products on Amazon that are fine, that would help people. Truthfully, you have to look at that and realize, hey, on the spectrum of all of this, we make really high quality, third party verified, nerdy as all get up red light therapy product, honestly, But if you can go on Amazon and buy a $99 red light therapy thing, it'll be a cheaper electronic. It probably won't have safety and third party testing for verifying wavelengths of light and intensity. That doesn't mean it wouldn't help in some way, shape, or form. It just probably breaks quicker, and all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. Now that we make electronics, which I really honestly never saw coming, I can just say, like I could go into the details of the type of wire that connects this LED to this LED and why that's so important, but nobody cares, everyone. So all that really matters is I'm saying there is really good quality. There is companies, not just us, who um, share third-party testing. You read all this information on our shop page, and you're like, that is really not relevant to me. But what's relevant is that if you had the question of like, why do you use those wavelengths? Why do you use that intensity of light? We are a group of humans who would then answer that for you.
Mhm.
That to me is who I buy supplements from now. That to me is who I buy products from when I can send an email and ask a question and further along my, learning. So,
For
so
sure.
yeah. It's popular. It's so
Mhm.
popular.
It definitely, it's like one of those hot topics right now, right? Like I
Yeah.
just had someone in the other day and they were like, "What do you know about red light?" I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
I'm glad you ask." Let me tell you about my company that I love.
you're like, woo, I know. If they ask me that, I'm like, what do you want to
I
know?
know. I'm like, let me show you all the products, which I could. Most of them are at home though. But the one
Yeah.
thing that for me that drew like me to your company and other things is like obviously like yes, the education and like I knew I was talking to someone, but I love that you had the wraps and I love that they were
Yeah.
rechargeable and like
Yeah.
that's really easy to use on a small kiddo. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be able to charge this thing up, like put my kid in the stroller, put it where I need
Yeah.
for his wounds, and like we're just gonna walk for 20 minutes and he's gonna love it, like it's gonna be super easy. And of course, you could put the panel anywhere too, but I really love like the whole like
Yeah.
round aspect and mobile and not having to be plugged into an outlet because it just for me was super easy to use.
Yes. And it's safer. So like the wraps for us was a big, I looked at the industry and I was like, gosh, everyone's buying these $2,000, $3,000 panels and then they're standing
Mhm.
naked
Yeah.
10 inches in front of it. I'm like, no kid is going to do that,
No,
first of all.
no.
And neither is it a mom. So I was, I had one. I'm like, this is not going to happen. And so then I spent a long time learning about this and learned, hey, you know what? You can make the same dosage of light in contact with the skin that's safer and more
Mhm.
comfortable and lower intensity. And then we quickly moved to wireless because we don't want to be contributing EMFs. We don't want to basically have an electronic, which is its own energy,
Mhm.
fighting the energy that we're trying to deliver, which is light and healing. And so these, when they're wireless, emit no EMFs when they're being used. And for some families, that will matter.
Yeah.
For others, it might not contribute to what's going on. I think everybody at some point accepts that every medical diagnosis is very complex.
Yeah.
There's so many factors that contribute, and you're trying to navigate.
Hmm.
a road and figure out, what do I pick up? What do I get rid of? You're just constantly, things are getting put in, things are
Hmm.
getting taken out until you can figure out, what's working.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's
It
very hard.
it is. And I found like just like navigating the space like ourselves, but then also to now talking to other caregivers, like the information on the more like holistic side isn't just it's just not as available. Like it's not provided. You kind of have to obviously dive in and do your own research. And when you
Yep.
have a medically complex child, you're almost worried like, oh, is this safe? Like, should I be doing this? But like for us, like I obviously came from like I'm a chiropractor, like I believe in like holistic modalities. I had been using red
Yep.
light before. So anything that I could implement for our son's healing process, like I was absolutely going to do. So
Yep.
I would love being able to provide this information, just like even like just like as like a little like thinking process of like, hey, maybe that is something I can do, or like my child has been struggling on recovering even from like detoxing off of anesthesia, or their healing, their wound has been slow healing. Like, let's implement some of these like modalities that have like very, very low like
Yeah.
contraindications and risk factors and just help them hopefully get over that hump a little bit
Yeah.
faster and better.
Yep. Yeah. This one is, as you know, of all the things that you probably do, this one is pretty simple, and
Yeah.
it's pretty simple for all of us. And so
And
people
enjoyable.
ask, and yeah, honestly, I mean, it's hilarious because if you're to think about how red light therapy incorporates into a family, it
Hmm.
kind of becomes, like a warm hug that sits around waiting to be turned on. We have them on our coffee tables. Everybody
Yeah.
here gets home from their school. I have three teenagers. They get home from really busy things. Their rooms glow at night. They have them on their bedside table. I don't know if they know if they're getting a little run down, they put it over their gut. They know if they're like, you know, sometimes it's over their face for
Yeah.
sinuses, head cold. Sometimes it's over here for relaxation, lymphatics, immune
Mhm.
function. Most of the time it's over sore legs and sore knees and sore shoulders. But the fact that they know that this is just something they grab, and truthfully, if a teenager turns it on and puts it on themselves, you've sort of created like the greatest proof of concept known to man,
For sure.
truthfully.
For sure.
Because they enjoy it. That's why they do it.
Yeah.
And they're not stretching, they're not, and truth, and I don't have medically complex kids. But through injuries and
Hmm.
illnesses, you really develop like a lot of empathy. My goodness, if I was having to really say, we have to do this, and then we have to do this, and then we have to do this, having something where, they're watching a show and this is just sitting on them,
Hmm.
and that wasn't a fight, is a really nice thing.
For sure. And I love to like also bring that into like a thought of it is for the whole family. So obviously like yes, we want to heal the kiddos and the kids that are going through this stuff, but the stress that's associated with the caregiver going through this, like and constantly
Uh,
being in fight or flight, like I use mine in that process more for just like general relaxation, like helping my body get more in rest and digest, and like because I was constantly in fight or flight and it doesn't feel good. You're disconnected from what's going on, and then you wake up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, like I didn't live the last like 18 months of my life like at all. So having these other modalities are like great for the whole family.
yeah. Yeah, a lot of people like, we have so many, there's always, a naysayer who's like, shouldn't we just be outside more?
Mm,
Yes, we
yeah.
should. We all should. I
Yeah.
mean, with our children, with
Yeah.
ourselves, we should all be outside more. We would feel so much better. But that isn't constructive. People say that. I'm always on a podcast, someone like, well, we just should be outside more. And it's like, there is nothing about my life where I get up in the morning and go do Tai Chi in the morning sun on my lawn. That is not what happens here. And so being able to just accept, where we're at, and then being able to say, yeah, wow, this is making an improvement. Gosh, maybe I should, try and get my kid outside more. I'm seeing this little improvement to this red light therapy wrap, that could be the sort of stepping stone to say, oh wow, like we're gonna go, try and, even be outside more in the stroller or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So the take home message is us trying to stay connected to nature in an extremely, extremely complicated,
Mhm.
stressful modern world.
Yeah.
And and here we are,
Mhm.
doing our best. I think feel like everybody's doing their best. Um, yeah.
Sure. For sure. Well, I just have one last closing question. If you have anything to provide for it, if you could speak directly to the parent who feels scared or overwhelmed right now, what's the message that you would want to leave them with?
Oh gosh, yeah. That's always so heart-wrenching to me. I mean, my gut reaction to that is to always trust your intuition.
Yes.
I think as parents, you don't have to be a healthcare provider. I mean, that's something now that stand firmly in.
Yes.
Your intuition about what is helping or not helping your child is really, really, really valuable. So that would be, my sort of big picture as a mom of three and,
Mhm.
navigating all the ups and downs of things that go on. And then the other would be that, you know, I do feel like we're feeling a shift where we are returning more to trying to be connected with the natural world and that to, go easy on yourself. That doesn't mean you need to be making sourdough bread and pickling your own vegetables. That what that means could be something as simple as like taking a walk in the morning or in the evening after you're done. The evenings are hard times parenting and they're very hard times for caretakers. And so if the evening routine can somehow incorporate being outside more or something with nature, that would be a piece of advice. It's very hard because it's so funny that I say it because I still some nights I'm like, I don't want to go for a walk after dinner.
I know.
I'm
I know.
exhausted.
I know.
But so yeah, so there. Trust your intuition
Yeah.
and just try when you can to muster. You're going to feel so much better,
Yeah.
whatever you can do to connect more with the natural world. But go easy on ourselves. It's not, man, it's
Hmm.
very hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very, yeah.
Giving yourself some grace too. Like you
Yeah.
are only human living in this world
Yes.
and
Yeah.
providing. What
Yeah.
are some ways that our listeners can connect with Fringe?
Yeah, our website is Fringe Heals. So
Okay.
www Fringe Heals. Our social media accounts are Fringe Heals. Those are the best ways to connect with us. You can, DM us.
Hmm.
You'll always talk to a human. We don't have robots who talk to people. That's a principle of the company. So
Yes.
no communicating with robots. You'll talk to people. We have like 5, 6 people on our medical staff now. So we always try to, we can't provide medical advice, but we really do try to provide guidance. And it comes from our medical team. And so we'll always, answer your questions and chat with you. So that's the best way to connect with us. There's a lot to read on our website, a lot of videos, to watch and sometimes all people want to see is, a 30-second clip and that's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
your guys' like support is very good. I think a lot of caregivers do want to know, like, how do I use this? Or like, what would you recommend? And you guys are there to help guide them. But also you have multiple products. So your
Yeah.
staff and help support them, like figuring out what's the right type of unit to get what their ultimate goal is with it. So I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, we get asked so many questions every week. Some weeks I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
never thought I would get asked this question, but
Yeah.
it's amazing. And for us, like we're a pretty nerdy group. It
Yeah.
helps us learn and sometimes we'll be like, we'll get back to you in 2 days because we don't know, but we will go look into that
Yes.
for you. So yeah.
Love it. Well, we're going to also connect all your like website and your social in the show
Great.
notes so everyone can find you. But we definitely appreciate your time,
Thank you so
of your
much. Yeah, I can't wait to
knowledge.
share this podcast with our community too. So
Yeah,
thank you.
you're so welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us for today's conversation on Born for This Stories. If this episode resonated with you, we'd love for you to take one simple step. Share it with a friend, another parent, or a caregiver who might need to know they are not alone in this journey. Make sure you are subscribed so you will never miss an episode. We release new stories every Monday. And if you're looking for more connection, resources, or ways to share your own story, come join us on Instagram at Born for This Stories, or visit our website at bornforthisstories.com. Remember, whatever part of the journey you're in, the waiting room, the recovery, or the in-between, you do not have to carry it alone. We see you, we stand with you, and never forget, you were born for this.